Welcome to Camp Gadget Reviews. I'm your host Sean, and tonight I am going to stay in this here barn cabin. Now I call it a barn cabin because it's actually on my property, and it's a barn all the way around me. All these are stalls all the way around, and I do have cattle out there, so during the night I might hear some cattle come in these stalls. But I'm gonna stay in this middle room right here. If we can get a good view of this. This is a 9 by 19, maybe 19 room that's a storage room in the middle of the barn. And the great thing about this is it's raised up. All the stalls around are ground level. This one's raised up probably about 3 feet. And it's old as sin, as you can tell. These cabinets and this wood, this is all really amazing age in this thing. I absolutely love it. So I'm excited to stay out here, and I'm gonna try out some new gadgets tonight. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to get some food in me. So let's fire up this camp stove here and get some food made. Oh boy. Ham-fisting a pot of chicken flavored ramen noodles straight out of the pot with a makeshift piece of plastic. Reminds me of college. I feel like I need to study for a midterm tomorrow or something. Brings me back. You got to drink it straight out of the pot, right? Oh, that's good stuff. So overall, I would say I had a good night. But would I do this again? Heck yeah, I would. I think this was a great little location. Now it does have, you know, it's not exactly the most airtight thing right here. You can see all the boards are about a board apart there, so you know there's plenty of drafts and everything, but overall I think it was a great experience, and it's definitely something that I plan to do again. Like I said, you know, this is something that I just recently cleaned up, so I probably will outfit this to be more of a camper's cabin, maybe even kind of a prepper's cabin. I have these old nasty cupboards here, see if you can see them, and those inside, they're actually not that bad inside. I imagine whoever had this before took these out of their kitchen, and those are going to be, you know, storage. I'm not going to put food and stuff like that in here because I think that you know, this does get some mice can come in here, and I cleaned out gallons of mouse poop out of here, so I don't want to do that just yet. But you know, my propane stove, things like, you know, water tanks, things like that, anything that's metal that I think won't get damaged by mice. And also I'm going to put lots of glue traps out here, maybe control this mouse situation. Now a couple years ago I used to use this for hay storage, and I think that's probably what did it, what really made the mice you know, tell their friends that there was a apartment complex, you know, nearby with plenty of hay bedding. But now that I've cleaned it out, I'm going to keep it cleaned out, and I'm going to use it for prepper storage and whatever like that. So I'll make tons of videos about in this cabin. I think I'll probably do all of my product reviews in this cabin or out in the yard in you know, in a tent or around a campfire. Hey all, it's Sean back once again here in the creepy cabin to talk about one of my favorite gadgets, and that is the 300-watt Rockpals portable solar station. Now some people call it a portable solar generator, and that's not accurate at all. It doesn't actually generate electricity. It's something that stores electricity, has a built-in inverter, and it can provide power to your little gadgets. I've had it, like I said, about 3 months. and I've taken it everywhere from about 38 degrees to about 100 degrees, and it's been great. So let me tell you more about why I like this gadget so much. All right, so here it is, the Rockpals 300 watt portable power station. This thing right here, like I said, 300 watts. It's continuous power, 300 watts. It has a peak of 600 watts and with 280 watt hours provided. So it's a hefty little thing. You know, it's something good if you want to take it on a camping trip, and that's basically what I've been doing with it. It's, of course, you can get something bigger, you can get something smaller. I decided to go with this because I think it's a good mid-range. You know, once you start getting up into, say, 1,000 watts, that's more, you know, I don't have that kind of power need. I'm basically charging my cameras, my smartphone, my laptop, things like that, lights, fans, things like that. Just very low power need stuff. A little bit more than you would need with something like a 200 watt, like a 100 watt. But a good rule of thumb, if you're looking for something like this, is you're going to plan to spend about $1 per watt. So this retails for about $300, but actually there's a sale going on Amazon right now for $249, which is a great deal because that's less than, of course, a watt an hour. I'm not affiliated with Rockpals. I'm not being paid for this as a sponsorship or anything like that. I'm not affiliated with Amazon, but I just think it's a good deal that I should pass on because, you know, they also have a 500 watt Rockpals, but it's $500. You know, so if you're looking for something half that price and half that size, you know, the 500 watt is probably about 12 pounds, I believe. This is about 7.3 pounds. So it's very portable, has a great handle right here that you can hold, you know, kind of flip down handle, which is great. It's very durable, although I don't put it out in the rain, don't put it in the water, don't leave it out in direct sunlight for a long time. You know, it's not very good for it. Other than that, though, it's been a great little companion for me on my camping trips. So I don't really want to make this like an unboxing video, something where I go through all of the different features, because I believe that that's something you could read on the Amazon description, you know, if you wanted to. But to kind of go over the basics. So we have the 12 volt. This is what you would use if, you know, in place of a cigarette lighter. You'd plug in anything that would go in a cigarette lighter, you could plug in right there, 12 volt. It also has a 24 volt down here. This is for, I have like power tools, you know, some cordless power tools that are 24 volt would fit into this. Electric scooters, a lot of electric scooters are 24 volt, the charging. And then right here we have other 12 volt. These are for 12 volt appliances that you would use. Over here we have 4 USB plugs. Now these top two here are 2 amp, 2.1 amp, and this down here are 3 amp. So these bottom ones actually charge more quickly, which is a godsend when you really want to charge your phone quickly. And then this right here, of course, is your 110 amp household plug that you would find in your house. And the reason this is so important, especially in this setup, is it has a ground. You'll see a lot of these types of things don't have a ground. You'll find they might have 2 plugs. Well, that's great, but they don't have grounds. Well, this one has a ground, and you can always plug in a small, you know, like a power strip if you need more plugs. Now, on the back, you're going to find this right here is these are your inputs for charging this. Because like I said, this is basically a lithium battery with an inverter hooked on in a nice portable little case. So here's where you're going to plug in your solar panels, you can charge from anything else except the wall outlet, which is right here. This is going to be your AC plug-in for charging. Let's say you charge it at home before you leave for camping, things like that. This does come with all the cables you need. The solar panel ones are called MC4s. They actually will fit into the adapter that'll go in here, and all that's included. The solar panel is not included, but all the cords you'll need. The cord for this is included. You'll also find an adapter, a 12 volt adapter here. So you'll find a lot of different cords. I believe there's even a USB adapter. I'm not sure. I have all my cords kind of mixed up right now in my bag, but so that's how you input, and you can do it through. You can actually charge right here through a 12 volt because there's an adapter included. So if you wanted to charge from your car, you would plug in the 12 volt cigarette lighter adapter in your car, which goes into another adapter that would go right in here, and that's how you charge that. And it's check that out like that. Now, the thing is, there are lots of these out there. You know, that's the problem with technology like this, is there are a lot of knockoffs. There are even ones from different companies that look exactly like this, exactly. I mean, everything is tooled exactly the same. You know, it's the same lights in the same place. Let me show you those. It's got these cool little 1 watt LEDs on each side. So you have that, but with these other companies, they might be cheaper as far as, I mean, the product itself might be cheaper, but you might not get the service that you would get with Rockpals, or you might not get the warranty that you would get. This has an 18-month warranty. You know, that's a pretty good deal, especially when it's on sale. So that's just something to consider when looking for something like this. Now, what set this apart for me, the reason I bought this instead of, say, a Jackery, which is probably the most popular brand. A couple other brands out there are pretty popular, but the biggest thing for me was the readout, the LED readout. Let me turn this on. When you're charging something, okay, I don't know if you can see it, it's probably blinking because it's LEDs. It shows you the storage right there. That's the storage. How much is in, you can see there's also like a little gauge right there showing you exactly how much is stored, and it's 100%. I just charged this up. And then over here you have the output. Now I don't have anything plugged into it, so it shows 113 volt, 112, 113 volt, but there's nothing plugged in. So it's not, there's nothing underneath it where it's showing the actual output. So you could turn on this, and you can turn on this, and you can see, if I turn it off and back on, you can see how it'll show you your USB output. So you can run outputs for everything at once simultaneously. But here's the greatest thing. This is one of the top reasons I bought this thing, is you can actually input solar power while outputting power from the actual battery bank itself. So you can be charging this on your solar panels and then still be charging your phones and everything else from the front. Why is that a big deal? Well, some of these power stations won't have that ability to do both, to input and output. And the reason that's a problem is because you don't want to sit there and wait until you charge up your battery to use it. You know, you want to be able to use it as a funnel to go from that solar power out. And this lets you do it. It's an amazing product. Let me turn all these back off again. Let's see, get that. And that one. I forgot which ones I had on here. There we go. So, as you could see from that LED also, it's a very comprehensive LED display. It shows you everything you need to know. It shows you all the outputs. Now, it doesn't show the input. I'll talk about that in a second, but it does show all the outputs. And it shows you the voltage that you have remaining in the battery. It shows you the voltage going out. It shows you the when you have the amperage on your little 3 amp USBs here, it tells you how much there. And I'll do a display here in a minute where I'll plug some things in and show that. Other than that, we have the display, which I love. We have the input and output simultaneously, which I love. It also has that 24 volt. You won't find that in many of these kind of things. So that's a pretty important selling point. 18-month warranty, that's pretty nice. You know, if something happens to it, you have that warranty, which is great. And like I said, I've tried it out. I went coast to coast. I've been camping a bunch of places. I mainly camp here, either in this cabin or in the back of the property. And my dog protects me. And while I'm doing that, you know, it's been cold. It's been in the 30s, and then it's been hot. It's been humid. It's extremely humid here where I live. So as long as you don't get it wet, as far as, you know, dunking it in the water, you'll probably be fine. Now, something you need to think about when you're looking for a solar power bank like this is you have to think about your usage, your power usage needs. Because you can always get one of those little power banks, those little like 10,000 milliamp, 20,000 milliamp power banks. This is, I think, considered a 75,000 milliamp, just to compare. But you can get one of those little 10,000, 20,000 ones. And they'll be great for, even if they have like 2 USB plugs on them, it'd be great for charging things pretty quickly. I use them all the time, and they do great for that. You know, they're perfect for something small like that. But this is for when you want to run solar in, say, your tent or your camper, and you want something that you can take out with you when you're done. I mean, there are options that you can go beyond this, where you can get solar panels on your camper, your RV, and you can set up a dedicated inverter and solar controller, you know, and wire all that together. You could definitely do that. And it actually would be cheaper per watt to do it that way. You're getting kind of more bang for your buck that way. But this way, this is portability. This is if you want to hook up solar panels to the back, carry it with you, 7 pounds, you know, it's nothing. It's nothing to carry this thing around. It's great for backpacking if you're moving around a lot, you know, something like that. And that's why I pretty much use it more than anything else, even more than those little power banks, because they do great, but they don't give you everything you need. I even have some of those, you know, the little power banks with the solar panels on the side, and they're made to recharge. Well, they're so slow. The solar takes forever. This thing will actually take way more power in. And that's another reason I was doing a lot of research on this, and I found out that while most power stations this size will output about 40 to 50 watts, this actually has a better guts, you know, technical scientific stuff inside that makes it put about 70 to 80 watts. So what that means is if you have a bigger battery inside here, a bigger high capacity lithium battery than this one, it would take you a lot longer to not only to charge it, but also to output. So the charging capabilities from the solar panel, you hook up two 200-watt solar panels, and you could hook it to this, and it'll charge it quickly. It'll charge it more quickly than it would something else that only accepts about 50 watts. Does that make sense? With the ability to do 70 to 80 input, it charges this smaller battery more quickly. So you're getting to use your power that you're storing in here more quickly. That makes sense? It's like if you had a 5-gallon bucket and you were filling it with a shot glass, you know, and you took that shot glass, and sure, you'll be able to fill that 5-gallon bucket eventually. It'll take a lot longer. Well, this thing is like filling a 5-gallon bucket with, you know, like a growler or something. You know, I don't know why I'm talking beer terms here, but you know, you're filling that 5-gallon bucket with a growler, you're going to fill it up a lot faster. You still have a 5-gallon bucket of water or beer or whatever you want, but you're just filling it faster so you can access that water more quickly. All right, so I've gushed on about this thing for a while, and you are probably thinking, well, what are the bad things? What is it that you don't like about it? Of course, there are things I don't like about it. Number one, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, was the input. There's no display on here that shows you how much power is being input. There's nothing about how many volts are coming in or watts coming in at all. And that's a problem when you want to know, you know, what's coming in. You want to know especially since you can do input and output simultaneously, you want to know what's coming in at the same time. Well, I'm kind of a nerd about things like that, so it does bother me. It might not bother you as much, but it would be nice to know. And the other thing that I think is probably, it may seem small, but it's actually a pretty big deal, is these lights right here. I've talked about these little 1-watt lights on each side. They're great. They even have a little SOS feature, and that's great. But these buttons, they turn on way too easily. And you know what that means? That means if this thing is sitting in your backpack and you're hiking for, let's say, 8 hours, and you didn't realize that both of these lights turned on in the back of your backpack, well, you're going to get there, and this thing is going to be completely depleted of power, and you're going to have a bad day. That's all there is to it. And it seems like a little thing, but that is huge. If you stored up power in here and you were excited about getting to your campsite and using this power, and you find out because of this tiny little light that turns on at the slightest little touch of a butterfly, then it's not going to be a good time when you get there and you don't have your power. So if I were to say to Rockpals, you know, if there's one major thing that I didn't like, that would be it. Because and sure, I could be careful with it. What I'm going to end up doing is putting little covers, little like bubble covers, if I can find something that will cover this up, tape it over there, and then when I want to use it, if I want to use the lights, which I don't really even use the lights, you know, I have flashlights and everything you have, like I have a radio with a light on it. I have a little portable power pack with a light on it. This has lights on it. So I don't think it's a matter of needing these lights. So I'm just going to basically put these little bubble things over here and cover it up, and then I don't have to worry about it. It'll be something to protect it. So yeah, other than that, I think those are nitpicky. Could get serious, especially with the light thing, but I think it's overall, I'm really impressed with this gadget. I think it's something that everyone needs, every backpacker needs, every camper. You know, we're to the point now where we're no longer camping and just starting a fire, a little campfire, and cooking beans over the fire. We're using our gadgets while we camp, especially if you're in an RV or a camper like I have. You know, you're using more products. You're using your phones and your laptops and your cameras aren't little film cameras anymore. They're cameras that require recharging and batteries and everything. And so you're using all these little gadgets, and you need something to charge them. And that's why this is so perfect. I love this thing. So I take it everywhere I go, and maybe if you can find one on sale, like right now, that $249 deal on Amazon, if it's still going on. You know, the time I'm recording this, it's on. So don't kill me if it's not actually still on sale, but I hope it is. It was earlier today. So I want to know, I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you have a portable power station like this? Do you have another brand maybe that you like better? What features do you look for in portable power? What kind of things do you power with your portable power station? How many times can I say power in one video? I mean, these are all questions that you need to answer in the comments below, and I'd be glad to read it and glad to kind of interact with you all in this video in the comments. So I thank you all for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you like what you've seen, and watch for more camp gadget reviews coming soon. Thank you.